Yes, ready.
We're on.
So I came to Israel in beginning.
What town did you leave? Germany? You left Germany.
No. I left Michalovce, Slovakia, Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
No, I was not in Germany. My sister was
Your
in Germany.
sister was.
Yeah, no, I was only at my hometown until 14 and a half years old. I became a big Zionist, and 45 from us, from Czechoslovakia, we made a youth Aliyat Noar, to Israel. And we came to Kibbutz Kfar Masarik, which is between Haifa and Akko. And we were working the fields. We were very young and hungry, because there was no food there. There was no food through the war. There was no food after the war. We used to get care packages from United States. I will never forget those care packages after the war. Two things I will never forget. The ivory soap was white soap, and the butter was salty. Those things, I never had salty butter before, never had a white soap before. So those things, the care packages. And then I had to sign when I left home. My mother took me to the city hall, and I had to sign that I'm giving up everything what belongs to me. What my father was working, and his grandfather, and all the dynasty of Goldstein family, I have to give up if I am leaving for Israel. I didn't know what I'm signing. I was 14 and a half years old. I didn't have a father already. So we came, we had no language, no profession, no family, no mother, no parents, no language, no nothing.
So
And we came, and my son, not long ago, who is a very smart boy, he just not long ago asked me, Mom, how come your mom let you go away when you were so young?
Good question.
Not long ago, he just asked me, would I let my son go away when he was 14? Never, ever. So that's why nobody can understand it. A mother let her child go away to the big world. Maybe she won't see her anymore. Maybe, who knows? And so there is only one answer to that. There were not normal times. No normal times. That's the only answer I can find. Otherwise, it would never happen.
What is it? No normal?
No normal times. I didn't have a father anymore. My mother always thought that she is a weak person. That time, women, they're quite weak. Home, working at home, no professions. The father was the father. Yet, my mother was young. Her husband didn't come back home. And they brainwashed us, the fact is, and the parents. So they let us go. My mother didn't want me to go. Nobody wanted to, But that's what happened, because the times were not normal. That's what happened. And in Israel, we were studying in kibbutz. We were 4 hours. We studied Bible and Hebrew.
You went to Israel, and your language was
Slovak.
Slovak.
Yes.
Only.
I spoke Hungarian. I spoke Slovak, and I spoke some Russian. But we spoke between us the teenager, we spoke. There were like 2 or 3 from Czech Republic, but we were most of us from Slovakia. It's a little bit different language, but very similar. No problem there. So we were speaking Slovak, and they were very angry with us that we speak between us our language. And they gave us 1 day in the week, no more Slovak, only Hebrew, because we didn't know Hebrew, So it helped that obviously we had to speak, when you're young it's always easy.
But you learned fast.
Yes, and we were. And then I left the kibbutz after 7. I was in the army. In 1952, I was 18 years old, and we had to go to the army. Everybody had to go to the army.
Good idea. They should do that here.
I think so.
Yeah.
They will never do it here.
It's,
They will never do it here, but they should.
they should.
I have to tell you
Yes.
something. It was extremely difficult for me. I am from a very special home. But I don't regret that I was in the army. On the contrary, I think it's good. You are disciplined.
Yes.
You early on learn things that you would never learn otherwise. It's good for life.
No question.
You face challenges easier. You learn pretty soon, pretty early, what is reality, what is life. Not to take anything for granted, to appreciate and to value what should be appreciated and what should be valued, which today I don't see too many young people do. And it's not good.
No, it's not.
It's not good for life. For life is good hardship, experiences, even if they are bad or not good, still experiences. It makes you who you are later on. And you start to value really what life is, what the reality of life really is. So why would I regret it? It made me who I am today. I am on my own since I am 14 and a half years old. Never have chance to study, to have a profession. And was without anybody, without parents, without anybody, no family. It's tough. It's tough. But you know what? I feel that I am better human being and stronger than I would be otherwise.
No question about it.
And also that I was 7 years in the kibbutz. I think everybody has to go for a while even
Yes.
to experience the life of kibbutz. Even when I tell my story, I tell the kids, don't let your parents to spoil you. And they always laugh because I tell you why, and I tell them why I'm telling you that from my own experience.
Yes.
I am from a very, very, very well-to-do family. I could be very easily extremely spoiled. My mother didn't spoil. She had this common sense.
Hey, that you cannot learn in school.
No,
Never.
you cannot call it.
Never.
Yeah.
They don't
We
teach that.
came back from school, and we had to help. We had to. Yet we had a woman, a housekeeper, day and night, lived with us. Mom took over the store after the war. Father was, So we were so we didn't have, she was the whole day in the store. And we went to school, and we had a housekeeper who came from concentration camp and lost all her family. And she was from a village that my mother was born. And she took her in. And she was the housekeeper. And she was with us all the time. But my mother told us she cooked it, she did everything. You know, there were no dishwasher, there were nothing that time. And when we came back from school, mother told us she had this common sense. You coming home and you going to help Rosie. Her name was Rosie. You help Rosie because she will do the dishes after the lunch, and you are going to dry, you know, with the towel, the dishes. You have to help. And you won't leave your room without finishing your bed, and everything will be. That's how we were educated, yet we had a person who had to do all that. And we were not happy. Me and my sister told, Rosie should do it, we don't have to do it, Rosie should. We used to tell that. And Mom told us, no, you are going to do that. And I want to tell you something.
What a wonderful mother you had.
Yes. And I have to tell you something. That I was thinking so many times in life while I was on my own since very early on. And my sister also. You know, it helped us. It helped me and my sister through all our life. That's why I'm telling the story to the children, which is like, you know, it's hard for them to understand, which I understand, but I'm talking about my own experience. Also, I'm telling them that I know you have a good life now. And you usually, I go to private schools, you know, Newport Beach, not bad. And I understand it. But, today you have the best and everything. But, something can happen tomorrow. And things happen without knowing, without expecting, without ready. Things happen. And ask me about it. How many times I started a new life. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. More so, 4 or 5 times. I was down, and there I came. I call it, I have a Hungarian say about it. There are Meissen. You heard about Meissen, a very famous crystal, Czech crystal, by the name of Meissen. It's a German name. And they have those small liqueur, I have at home, glasses, and they have a very solid basis. So when you tilt those, they always come back. Those Mason liqueur glasses, small glasses. Everyone is a different color. They are very famous. You know, Czech crystal. So and my mother used to call it Kejfel Jancsi. It's a Hungarian. So Jancsi, which is Jean or Jan in Hungarian, get up. Jan, get up. So I call myself, I am Jan, get up Jan, get up Marta. So I am going always up and down and up and down. I don't count anymore because you cannot count. And that's why I tell the story to the children, that if you are prepared in life and not spoiled, it will help you through all your life, because there are challenges in life without thinking, without knowing, without expecting. But things can happen. It can be an earthquake. And things can happen. It doesn't have to be a Holocaust, but things can happen. And then if you are prepared more, you're stronger, it's easier for you to face the challenges of life. And you maybe appreciate things differently and value things.
You'd be a happier person.
I think so. A better and a happier person. I think so. Yes.
That's why the Boy Scouts motto is be prepared.
Yeah. Heye Muchan. It comes from Hebrew. Heye Muchan. Be ready. Heye Muchan. So I speak those languages, and they also helped me. My mother educated us, as many languages you speak, as many times you are a human being. And I just met somebody a few days ago who told me that that's what my mother told her. I never heard it from anybody else yet. So she was educated the same way, as many languages you speak. And my mother was not good with languages, because people whose first language is Hungarian have problem with languages, because this is a completely different language. It has nothing to do with any other. This is a Finno-Ungaric language. It's very difficult. It's not like, many other languages. It's just not. And this is it's a problem from Hungarian people to learn languages. But that's what she told us: as many languages you will speak, as many times you will be a human being. So it is good. I'm so lucky that I didn't forget those languages, because I don't speak those languages anymore for many years. I went to visit my family 4 years ago in Slovakia, and they told me, Marta, you claim that you don't have relatives beside your son in the United States, and I don't. And you speak still fluently Slovak, they told me, after so many years. Why wouldn't you come to live here? And here you have relatives, in Prague and in Slovakia, Bratislava. I told them there is only one place in this world that I want to live. Is the place I live now. And at that time I lived in Newport Beach, but it's very close by, it's not a problem. Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to live in any other place. I traveled the world. It just, the communists killed the people there. They're not, it's not people like I used to grow up. They are ruined people there. The communist regime ruined the nation there. So my family is incredible family, all doctors, engineers, the nicest people. But I wouldn't be able one day to live there. That's no question in my life. Yeah.
You have good reason not to want to live there.
Absolutely, I have my son. I have my son here.
So how big is a family do you have there, and who's left?
I got married to Kurt Landman Carney, which my son's name is Michael Landman Carney. In Israel, he was a genius. He was a prodigy. He was born in in a small town in Czech Republic, that time Czechoslovakia. From a very religious home. His father was a rabbi and a cantor in this small town in Czech Republic. And he was the youngest child, and they sent him to Palestine when he was 16 years old, in 1939. And he volunteered to the Jewish section of the British Army, World War II, and he stayed in Europe, in the army. So when he came, he lived in Italy after the war. He stayed in Italy. Then he came to Israel, and I met him there, and we got married, and my son was born. And we lived in Chicago. We left Israel in 1979. We came to Skokie, to Chicago.
How long were you there?
I lived 11 years there. Then when we retired, my husband retired, and then me, we came to Laguna Woods. We retired here in Laguna Woods in California. And my husband passed away there when we lived in Laguna Woods. And then I married, 2 years after that, I married somebody, an American, in Newport Beach. That's why I lived in Newport Beach 16 years. But The second marriage was good until it was good, but then it was a tragedy. It was a terrible situation. It ended up very badly. Very, very badly. I told you. Yeah. Yeah. I was 73, he was very sick, and the children brainwashed him against me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How
And
many children?
he had 4 children. And one was really very bad. All of them, one daughter was good, who passed away in breast cancer. And if she would be alive, it never would happen what happened to me. She wouldn't let it happen, but she was not alive anymore.
Okay.
You have enough light?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too. I left home with 45 teenagers for Israel in beginning of 1949, and we lived in Kibbutz Kfar Masaryk 7 years. I lived in Kibbutz Kfar Masaryk 7 years, and went to the army in 1952. Went to the army, and I was serving 2.5 years. I was in the army by the name of Nahal, which means Noar Chalutzi Lochem. It was a special army for teenagers who lived in kibbutzim, and this was sort of a better army than Tzahal.
But when you went to Israel, you did not speak Hebrew, the language you were speaking when you went to Israel. Please tell me about that.
We spoke Slovak. We spoke Slovak between us, 45 teenagers. We didn't we didn't speak Hebrew. We left homes, we left families. We didn't have anybody. We didn't have any profession. We didn't have a language. We didn't have money. We didn't have support system or family. We just left homes. Teenagers came to Israel and lived in kibbutz some years, and then we went to the army, and then we struggled. Everybody in his or her way, because in Israel there was no food that time, and it was very hard life. And then I met my husband. He married in Israel, and my son was born in 1966. And
In Israel?
in Israel, yeah. He was 6 months old when the war, the Six-Day War came out. He was 6 months old, and I was working in I was a secretary, and we decided in 1979 to emigrate to United States. My husband has a sister in Chicago, in Skokie, so we came to Chicago, Skokie, and we lived there 11 years. My son went to school, to college, and graduate school in...
Can I stop it for a second?
Somebody's knocking on the door.
Oh, let me stop. Oh, I can't believe it.
Oh.
Oh, I had it in the off position. Can we,
Since the beginning?
I'm sorry.
Since the beginning?
Yeah, can you just go back to, oh, God. Marta, I'm sorry. Because I shut it off when I let you in.
Why do I put
No, it's
myself
okay.
in?
No.
I know it. Hey, could we just back up? Oh, God. When you were in Skokie, I guess.
Yes.
Or in the Israeli army.
Yes.
When you went to Israel.
Yes, so we...
Okay, it's on now.
It's on, and so when I was in... I was 18 years old. We had to go to the army, and we were in a army by the name of Nahal, which is Noar Chalutzi Lochem, which was a better, I would say, a better better than Tzahal, because only there are people in Nahal from kibbutzim. Only from kibbutzim went to Nahal, and our mission was to help to take care of the borders of Israel. So I myself was on the Syrian border, on the Lebanese border, and Jordan's border in the army. And after 2.5 years,
It was in 1949 when
it was in 1952.
Oh.
In 1952, I was 18 years old. And usually army was 2 years, but when I was in the army, it was 2.5 years. It was a special time, which is always special time in Israel. So they added 6 months to our service. And then I left the kibbutz and was struggling, working in all kind of as a sales lady, as a accountant, because I didn't have really enough formal education. And then I met my husband, and we married, and my son was born in Israel. And when one day we decided in 1979 to come to United States. We came to Chicago, Skokie. My husband was 56 years old, I was 45, and my son was 13. His bar mitzvah was here, in Skokie. And I was working in the Skokie Federal Savings, and my husband was working for Johnson & Higgins. He was an insurance man. But he was not young when we came here and we started a new life. It was not easy. And then when he retired, and then I retired, we decided to come to California, to live in Laguna Woods, Leisure World. And we were very happy. We had a lot of friends and a lot of activities. My husband was also very active, and I was very active always. And we enjoyed living in Leisure World. We played golf, we played bridge, and so and so. And then after 2.5 years living in Leisure World, Laguna Woods, he passed away. He just turned 69. I was very young. I was 58 when he passed away. I was alone here. My son at that time still lived in Chicago. He just started to work after he finished schooling. And it was not easy for me. And then after a year, my son came out and stayed and came to California. So he lives now in California. And after 2 years, after my husband passed away, I met Al Leitner, American, in Newport Beach, and we got married, and we were very happy. It was really a love affair. He was 12 years older. He was a retired jeweler. We lived in Newport Beach. After some 6 or 7 years, he got cancer, and he started to, it was very hard because he suffered from depression and other ailments, and for years and years I took care of him, and he had 4 children, 1 daughter and 3 sons. The daughter passed away early on from breast cancer, so he had 3 sons who were not the best sons, and my husband supported 1 son who was really who he didn't like to work, and my husband had to support him. And he always wanted money, and always wanted the place that belonged to his father and me in Newport Beach, because he knew that he will never get to anything without father's money. And while I was taking care of my husband and prolonged his life and bettered his life, one son particularly was brainwashing him against me, because I helped him to live longer life and better quality of life. But they wanted the money already, and they didn't like me because I prolonged his life. And there was a conspiracy between my husband and his son, who brainwashed his father while he was already sick and very vulnerable. And I lived for years, I call it a hell. And after some years I couldn't take it anymore, so I left home in April 2007. In April 2007, I was scared that he will harm me, because he was just his eyes told me that he's going to kill me or harm me, although he was very sick. But I still saw that something is wrong there, and I cannot stay anymore there. So I asked my son, who came to pick me up, and took me to a hotel. I just left with my clothes on me and nothing else. I was afraid to go back. Day after I left home, I didn't have anything, no car, not the car, and no nothing. So I asked my son and my very good friend Tony Rios to help me to go back home, because I was afraid that he can harm me, something will happen there, and I didn't want to be alone. So we just picked up my car, and that's all what I got. Then I was renting. My friend Tony Rios found a place on Balboa Island for me to rent for a month, and then my son found a place for me to rent, 1.5 bedroom, very close by when I was married, by the name of Villa Balboa, a small apartment which was furnished, because I didn't have anything, nothing. And so it was good for me. It was furnished, and there was some dishes there. And I lived there for 2.5 years, and the owner of the condo there wanted to sell the place, so I had to move. For me, moving was a tremendous challenge, overwhelming, because I moved so much in my life that I got sick when I had to move again and again and again. But my son helped me, and good friends helped me to overcome it. And then I wanted to stay in Newport Beach because I was used to live there. I liked my activities there. I lived close to Hawk Hospital, and they had classes, yoga classes, and all kind of, and I just took advantage of it. It was good life for me, and all the stores and all the places that I was used to. I wanted, but I couldn't find anything to rent that it would be for me, because I figured I cannot rent something which is with stairs, or I want the garage, or I want, in my age I wanted already things that maybe young people, it's not important for them. So I finally found, not in Newport Beach, but here in Irvine, where I live now, a place that I like, because there is a garage there in the basement, and elevator, and I like the place. Now I am almost 4 years there. And it is close to the synagogue. I became a member of the synagogue. I was never a member before in a synagogue. And it also changed my life for better, because it's sort of like a family, because I don't have the family support that usually people have, because our families passed away and they were taken to concentration camps. My mother had 7 siblings and my father 6, so it was a very beautiful and big family. There was almost nobody left from my big family, and so it sort of helps, I think, particular Holocaust survivors in some way to be members in a synagogue. And the Shir Hamalot synagogue is very friendly synagogue, helping very much Holocaust survivors. And I would say that's what it is, because I am here, I am a survivor, and I don't dwell on it at all, and I am happy. Happy end. That's a happy end. Like in the movie. It's a happy end.
Marta, thank you so much for
it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so
I
much.
think it's very important what you're doing. I think so. It's very important what you're doing, because what I tell when I am invited to tell my story, I tell people that although there will be books and there will be essays and there will be all kind of material after we are not here anymore, but if you meet somebody who went through what we went through, it's completely a different story. And maybe you young kids in the school, maybe they don't realize that. But when they will be older, they will, this woman by the name of Marta, she came to our school when I was 13 years old or 11 years old, and she was sort of a happy person, and she was enthusiastic, and she told her story to us, and she's so amazing. I got letters after, when I go to schools, many private schools, they let the kids write letters about when we come to tell them. So I have really a big stack of letters, and it is very good for me. It is very important. I think that they all are maybe young and they don't understand everything what they heard, but later on they will remember many things that I maybe told them, and they will maybe appreciate later on in life that it was important to listen to this woman.
Terrific. Thank you so much.